Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are on planet Earth, this fast forward planet, which is wrapped in so many layers of turbulence, it's really hard to keep up. And just within the United States, we have the world's richest man taking a wrecking ball to governmental institutions with a free range because his fearless leader is Donald J. Trump, who is all about deconstructing things, not doing things constructively. It's early days still. We just passed a month of that administration, but we're not going to talk about any of that today because this is your time to take a breath and for us to share songs. We have a jam-packed show today. Some wonderful friends here from around North America and my old haunt in the Hudson Valley particularly. If you're looking at the screen, right next to me is John Thomas, who is a professor of law at Quinnipiac University Law School, who I met through when I came to speak at a meeting on wildlife, illegal wildlife trade and technology and the law. And so that was how I got to know him. And then I realized he has like a house full of guitars, mostly Gibsons, like the one my first guitar, like this, which is a 1949, and there's a 1943, I'll bet, or whatever it is.
It's 1942, right?
1942. So, and he went on to write a book about the Kalamazoo Girls, who this secret cadre of women who during World War II kept making Gibson wonderful guitars, these slope-shouldered dreadnoughts.
But they're called Kalamazoo Gals, and the reason I call them Kalamazoo Gals is in January 1942 when they walked into that factory. Number one on the hit parade, Glenn Miller's version of "I've Got a Gal in Kalamazoo." So I got a book title out of it.
That's so wild. And
I have to interject that Melissa Orquist's aunts or great aunts were all part of that.
Oh, that's so cool!
Really? Oh, fantastic.
She's one of our Hudson Valley musician cadre. I'd like to find out more about that.
Yeah, we too.
Yeah, and in a second, I'm going to show the trailer for the film, which has just been made, has been released. It's been at some film festivals, and it's built around John's book. John's in it. But I want to go around the room here, just make sure everyone gets hello. Lydia Adams Davis, back in the Hudson Valley, one of the longtime folkies from the Pete Seeger circles that I used to inhabit there for 30 years. Rick Polari below her, who is back in Vermont. Or you're in Vermont, right, Rick? You can unmute. And Rick was just at the Folk Alliance meeting that is this annual convention of folkies. Imagine like a Hilton hotel full of people with guitars and banjos and bass fiddles, and you get the idea.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I could only be there for one day just because of some of my scheduling, but it was worth it. And I interviewed David Amram. It was funny. All you have to do is ask him one question, and then there's 30 minutes.
And a Coke bottle. Yes, he's a fizzy bottle at age 94. And it doesn't come back, it doesn't stop. It's amazing. And every word is fascinating. Donna Nestler, who was just on with David Amram last week from the Hudson Valley, you're now in Arizona.
Phoenix. I had to come share the beautiful weather with all of you.
By the time I get to Phoenix. And Patrick Jones and Lori Siegel are in Beacon, I assume.
Yes, we're in Beacon.
Yes, yeah. At St. Pat Street.
Yeah.
And we have a Beacon. It's a Beacon convention. We have Karen Brooks there, who's normally up in Western Massachusetts, but she's in David's studio.
I'm in Beacon also.
Yeah, right. This is like a Beacon forum.
Thank you.
And David Ross and Karen are in the same house, but different parts in Beacon as well. I thought we'd start with John Thomas and the film. I'm going to show a brief clip from it. And John, we could talk briefly about that, and then maybe you can strum your 1942 instrument too. So hold on.
Sure. This guitar was built in World War II. Young soldier bought it late 1943, took it to the European battlefront.
I've not encountered a single guitar player from beginner to seasoned pro who hasn't been astonished by these guitars.
This is a guitar.
Like, this is something special.
Wow.
Guitars don't make that sound these days. Wow, it's awesome.
The banners went on there in 1942. The banners came off in late 1945. The banners were there only during World War II. Why is this one different from every other guitar I've ever encountered? So I'm doing some research. I come across this photograph. I could not begin to calculate how many hours I spent looking at that photograph, just sort of fantasizing. If I could talk to one of these people, what would they tell me? And there I've got it. I've got a window into World War II in that building. I've got living witnesses to what happened in that factory.
There are so many American stories that are forgotten. We need to excavate them and find a way to repair this entire kind of lineage of history that was erased.
January 1942, in through the gates of the Gibson plant walks the most talented workforce the company ever has seen to this day.
Want to know the little known method?
So that's kind of cool. So John,
thank you.
Give a very brief sketch of what fixated you. Like, when was the first time you got your hands on one of these guitars, and then what led to this whole project?
Yeah, I got a guitar with banner that went on to 1942. I got a banner, Southern Jumbo, so a little older than one you have, from a collector in Seattle. And George Gruna said it was the finest example of that particular model on the planet. And I became curious about it because there were, Gibson official history said the company did not make any instruments during the war. And there was the literature at the time, to the extent the Guitar Geek writing his literature, said that maybe there were some made, and they were the best Gibson ever made because only the seasoned craftsmen stayed back from the war and they built these great guitars. And I can't recall how I came across that photograph, but it's all these women and only women standing in front of the factory. It looked like 30s, 40s, 50s to me. I later got an original print. It's June 1944, middle of the war. And I just became fixated on finding one of those women. So I took out advertisements in the Kalamazoo Gazette and all the contiguous newspapers of contiguous towns. And so I'm coming to town. I'd like to talk to you if you worked at Gibson. Didn't specify man or woman. And 12 women reached out to me, their granddaughters typically. And I interviewed them and wrote a book around them. It changed my life in lots of ways. I got a story that I like. It's got history and guitar geekdom and music and social justice. But it also really introduced me to narrative writing. I did a lot of stuff in medical and legal professional journals, which was not remotely narrative. And it changed what I did. I think the book after that was a oral history of the U.S.-Mexico border, where I stayed in Mexico for a month and then the U.S. for a month, interviewing largely people in ranching communities. And I've since done that with refugee communities and such. So it was a turning point in my life, and took me around the world and put me on good stages and introduced me to great guitars. Yeah, it was amazing.
And from what I understand, these women were not seasoned luthiers.
They weren't. So I have a joint appointment at a medical school. I also have a master's in public health, and I got access to cool toys, CT scanners and x-rays. And so I did a statistical analysis. I got 12 guitars just before the war, 12 guitars just after the war, 12 guitars during the war. And the women's work was statistically significantly better or more refined. That is, every surface was a little thinner, a little smoother, microscopically. And so I couldn't figure this out. I asked them what training they got, and they all said, "What do you mean by training?" I sat down by a man, told to do what the person next to me is doing. And I finally got around to asking them what they did when they weren't working at Gibson. And then they sewed, they did needlepoint, they did crochet, they knitted. And so what happened was just these people with these astonishing fine motor skills walked into that factory. The other kinds of jobs available in the area were either other manufacturing or farming. So you had the male workers who would come into Gibson had incredible skills, but they were gross motor skills. So farmers can do anything. They can fix anything, but they can't knit, or typically they don't knit, right? So really, as a consequence of wartime shortage of human labor and gender roles at the time, Gibson got this fascinating, fantastic workforce that was there really just for the war. After the end of the war, they weren't laid off, as far as I know, but almost all of them went back to the roles expected of them, being homemakers and wives. Well, very few stayed on. So we get this little window of time where the guitars were made by women's hands, and they're better.
Yeah. And I've seen, if everyone can just go to that website, Kalamazoo Gals, KalamazooGals.com, and fish around, you'll see some of the X-ray. Are they X-rays or MRIs or some other kind of thing?
Can't do MRIs because
metal.
There's metal on them. They'll pop through the door and kill you. But it's CT scans and X-rays. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. And so, just briefly, the one you're holding, the history of it, and maybe you could do a little picking.
Sure. I have 3 banners that soldiers, U.S. servicemen, bought just before the war. 2 of them that soldiers took them through the war. One was a sailor to the Pacific Theater. One was a foot soldier to the European Theater. This was a sailor who bought this just before the war in California. He lived in San Diego area and put it under a bed. And he later on had a career in the military. Never played this guitar. So when I got it, there wasn't even any fret wear on it.
Wow.
And I've been out playing it lately. So I'll give you just a little couple bars.
I know that sound. Yeah, there's a wonderful
it's a lovely
deep
guitar.
notes and then crispy highs. It's just really cool. That's part of the magic. Well, do any of you have any questions about that before we go into some of the songs? David or anybody? Pretty cool.
Now that was the type of guitar that Woody Guthrie used with Cisco.
Yeah, Woody did. Woody had the wartime version of the guitar that Andy has, a Southerner Jumbo it was called. And he had the big "This Machine Kills Fascists" sticker on it. That's right. Yeah, and I had 2 of those Southern Jumbos from that period. The one that went to war, the young soldier bought it in New York City in late 1943. And I've gone through the shipping records to find out how many guitars were of that model were in New York City. Only 3 ever. They were at New York Band, and that's where Woody and Cisco bought theirs. So it's almost certain that one of the guitars I have was hanging on that same wall where Woody picked up that guitar, on which he wrote "This Land Is Your Land," recorded for the early Modash sessions.
That's so cool. Patrick, did you have a question before we go on? And we're going to go to Woody.
Just very quickly, I was able to come across and have in my possession through my older sister, who married, her husband was in the Navy in World War II, had a Gibson guitar F-hole like that. And I would love to be able to find out more information. The guitar was unfortunately stolen, but it's so interesting in our history and how music expanded. Nobody was really very interested in it. So it came into my possession kind of like by default. It didn't have a round sound hole and it wasn't electrified, but it was such a beautiful, exquisite guitar to play. I can still remember what it felt like.
Sorry, it was stolen. If you still had it, I might be able to trace it through the ledgers.
I'm interested.
Reach out to me and talk.
Okay, thanks, John.
So Lydia Adams Davis, in these times, what song comes to mind for you if you want to sing or play one? And you have to unmute, I think.
Hey. Well, I got a gig, and I went to Main Street Music Store with my cash, and there was this beautiful little Gibson.
It's a Gibson morning, I guess.
It's a 1960 something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so happy to have a Gibson because the Gibson that I'd seen before, I couldn't restore. It was somebody used it as a planter. It was the dark one, and it was full of plants. And moldy. Oh, it was on her wall.
That's pretty wild.
I ain't got no home. I'm just wandering round. I'm just a wandering worker. I work from town to town. Will the police make it hard wherever you may go? And I don't want to run from this world anymore. So someone said that I might give a guitar a try. I picked up this old Gibson, and my hands could fly. Somehow songs and sanity go together as one. So I'm just singing with my Gibson until the song is done.
That's great. Did you just write that?
Of course, but 12 Bar Blues is written by history.
Yes. That's really.
So I mean, I don't know.
It's awesome, Lydia. Awesome.
Okay, I'll sing a real song later if there's time.
Oh, that was awesome. It was awesome. You might add a verse about the guitar that was a planter.
Yeah.
My first chance at a Gibson was hanging on the wall, but it was covered with ivy and it was about to fall. I don't know. And then get into my second Gibson. That's awesome.
Yeah, and earthworms.
Oh, that's
earthworms to get them in there too.
Sounds like a plan.
It sure does. Thank you.
Thank you, David. David Ross, how are you this morning? You have to unmute.
I'm well. How are you doing, man?
Good. And again, we're kind of in fast forward mode here today, but so
no, I know. Try to get everybody in your hour. So I was just going to sing an old a Graham Parsons song that kind of fits my mood for this week. In South Carolina, there are many tall pines. I remember the oak tree that we used to climb. But now when I'm lonesome, I always pretend I'm getting the feel of hickory wind. Well, I started out younger and most everything, all the riches and pleasure. What else could life bring? But it made me feel better each time it begins, calling me home. Hickory wind. It's a hard way to find out that trouble is real. In a faraway city, in a faraway field, but it makes me feel better each time it begins, calling me home. Hickory wind keeps calling me home. Hickory wind keeps calling me. Hickory wind.
Woo, beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
remember we used to
Did
play
the,
that.
did the harmonica come through this time?
It did, yeah, it did. You know,
Oh,
it's
I'm
all still imperfect, but
Yeah, we're working on it.
yeah, we're all working on it. And it's better than the early days of the pandemic when we started doing this, and it was all kind of fun, even more funky.
That's for
But
sure.
the main thing is just getting together. You know, I'll be down in the Hudson Valley in April, but it's a long time till April, and it's good to get together in the meantime.
Keep me
So
posted when in April, if the boat's in, we're going sailing.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's right around Earth Day. I'm speaking at Marist University. It's now university on Earth Day, and I'll be playing at the town crier on Sunday, the 20th of April. So there you go. Patrick and Lori, how are you doing? And do you have a song in mind today?
Hey Andy, we're doing great, and it's wonderful to see you as always. I'm glad we got on here today. Finally, we're back. And we do have a song in mind.
Yeah.
It's one we've been singing for a while, but it's ringing really true right now.
I would say so. And I just want to say very quickly, you know, Andy, I can't thank you enough. I'm here because of you. Through you, I met David Ross. We've been writing songs. Lydia's been recording over here in my little humble little room.
And we're together.
And we're together. So, you know, I should start calling you Pops or something. But the other thing is I have good news for everybody is that the eel count is still going on. And I was in the Hudson River on Tuesday. It's 18 degrees.
My God.
He was slogging around in the water.
But it's still going on. Yes, we're still doing it. Eagle Watch happened.
This is what that looks like for anyone who wants to know what these eels are.
Yeah, look at those cute guys.
These are the sort of the early stage of the eel's amazing life. And Patrick is one of the volunteers who goes out there and counts them.
Citizen scientist, I'm called, I believe. So
absolutely.
So thank you for all this. And David and I hopefully will get it together. But I guess it's going to be, we've got about 30 versions of the songs we've been working on now. And now we've gone back to zero for this song called Shaken. And Lori and I have been working together. And so we just have to do Song of Hope for everybody. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
because we need hope.
Yeah.
And hope, as I always say about this song, hope is an act of resistance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hope is a verb. It's a verb.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you too, Karen. It's good to see you, and Donna and Rick. God bless you all. And John, nice to meet you. Really. All right.
Right. So let's do it.
1, 2, 3. I sing a song of hope, defiantly declared. Release it if you dare, in the midst of dark despair. Fueled by a spark of rage, the rattling of a cage is the rhythm that compels you and tells you to keep on marching on. Keep the fire burning, keep your head held high as you look into the eyes of those who would bring you down. They cannot bring us down. You sing a song of hope, held like a babe in arms. You try to keep it warm, protected from the storm. nursing the gash of a dream that has been dashed. And still you sing, and still we sing. Keep the fire burning, keep your head held high, as you look into the eyes of those who bring you down. You cannot bring us down. Keep the fire burning, keep your head held high, as you look into the eyes of those who bring you down. They cannot bring us down. We sing a song of hope, lightning in the skies, of the fire in our eyes, burning through the storm. Fueled by a burning love, we raise our eyes above, see the tenders and the young, all our colors in the sun, rising up as one. Yes, rising up as one. Keep the fire burning, keep your head held high, as you look into the eyes of those who bring you down. They cannot bring us down. We will rise. We will rise. Sing it. We will rise. We will rise. Oh, we will rise. We will rise. All together, we will rise. We will rise. All together, we will rise. We will rise. All together, we will rise. All together, we will rise.
Wow. Bravo. Lori, you know, that song is a masterpiece, and it just gets more and more meaningful.
Yeah, thank you.
It's just a spectacular song, and meets this moment so beautifully. Just big hug.
Back at you, Andy. I'm looking forward to seeing you in April. In
Yeah.
person.
Oh, we're coming.
Yeah.
And I'm glad your health is there too.
Yeah.
John Thomas has had, in the midst of a long and extended struggle with cancer, and
Oh, boy.
Lori, you came out the other way, and
Yeah.
Lydia, it's like
Me too.
David Ross as well.
Yeah, like a lot of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that Roland Musa, who used to live with Pete and Toshi and is a Native American activist, he's coming from North Dakota, South Dakota, to the town crier to share the salon stage with me on May 4th to celebrate Pete Seeger's birthday at the town crier.
Oh, that's great.
That's great.
He's someone you may want to interview, Andy. He's an inventor. He's a fascinating person who goes back to the early days before a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Oh, that'll be great.
I don't know if you know him, Roland.
No, but we'll have to get to know him.
Oh, good. Okay, thanks.
So, Rick, over to you in Vermont. And it's fun to see you without a banjo. I know you play everything. You play every kind of instrument. So.
Well, it's been, the most important instrument that we have is our voice.
Yeah.
And I've been out on the protest lines over here in Vermont. We've had some of the gatherings for the 50-50 50 rallies in 50 states. So I was in Montpelier, and it was interesting because with these protests, they don't really have a plan. They don't have really speakers. It's people need to gather. They get together and they start gathering and they start singing. And they were singing everything. They were singing America the Beautiful. They were singing This Land Is Your Land. I helped lead This Little Light of Mine. And it was just beautiful. It was so organic. And then we had another rally in Burlington. And it was one of those moments where this one person, he started to sing "We Shall Overcome," and his voice was faltering, And so I said, "Well, okay, I wasn't thinking about this, but let's see if we can do this." And we started singing that song, and the power that is in that song is undeniable. It is something that I've sung the song, and we all have sang the song, but there is a certain power in that song that is unlike any other song. I guess it's one of the few songs that has been proven to be able to stop violence.
Wow.
And so I think this is a really important time for us as musicians to, first of all, realize that we don't even need a guitar or anything to be out there helping out and leading people into song. All we need is our voice. And it makes it so much easier and so much less about us and all about what we're doing. And so I was thinking, because things are so crazy right now, I was thinking about this song that we could do that I'm sure you know. Oh, and we're talking about guitars. So this is Lucky. This guitar was given to me by the Gretsch Guitar Company. So I call it Lucky because nobody ever gave me anything like this before.
Cool.
And so this is a song that you know it. But it's another song that has a power right now that we could think about. It's by Utah Phillips. Sometimes in this living, it gets so dark and lonesome. Seems like there's nothing we can do. So we reach out to each other, raise a tune together, and sing a song to carry us through. Here's the chorus. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. When the da-da-da, and when the dark, I can't remember the word. When the world da-da-da, it's so easy to get angry, and just as hard not to be afraid. But in our own hearts, no matter what happens, you just can't turn your back and walk away. We got the words. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. Let's get that verse. Let's try that one that I missed. And when the war clouds gather, it's so easy to get angry, and just as hard not to be afraid. But in your own heart, no matter what happens, you just can't turn your back and walk away. Let's try it now. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. So hand in hand together, we'll help each other carry that light of peace in us every day. If we can learn to live it, walk and talk and give it, that light of peace won't be so far away. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. One more time, try it. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come.
Oh, that is perfect. Perfect. And I did fish out the words. This will be fun for everyone to share after the fact, and they can play the recording, and they'll have the words there and can sing along.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So many songs like that circle back around. One that Donna and Rick have done here before was "The Banks Are Made of Marble," which has, it's an economics version of the injustice. And here we have the world's richest men running the country and thus the world, and people who are been struggling and now endangered because of the migration laws are getting shafted. So many great songs. Karen Brooks.
I'm glad you're going to have me go next. My computer's not charging; it's down to 4%.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Uh-oh. Let's see. So is that vocal too loud, or is it okay?
It sounds good.
Good. Okay. And here's the guitar. You can hear the guitar. Good. Okay. This song I wrote, and it just seems appropriate. And I am going back to Florida tomorrow after 4 days without power and minus 18 degrees weather and heat where I live. And boy, oh boy, am I glad to be not there today. It's nice and warm here. Go. I stood on the edge of the ocean. I stood on the edge of the sea. I stood in the arms of my own true love. It looked a lot like me. And it said, let's go, let's go, let's go. I said it 10 times more. Where the wind and the rain and the ice and snow don't blow in my own front door. We walk through emerald forests. We walk through purple haze. We walk through fields of golden grain. We walk for days and days. And I said, let's go, let's go, let's go. I said it 10 times more. Where the wind and the rain and the ice and the snow don't blow in my own front door. We talk about tomorrow. We talk about yesterday. We talk of a world where people know the line between love and hate. And I said, let's go, let's go, let's go. I said it 10 times more. Where the wind and the rain and the ice and the snow don't blow in my old There is a fountain, there is a stream, there is a place where hope and love will find a dream. Thank you.
Hold on. Beautiful. Beautiful as always. Well, you're bringing to mind all kinds of feelings and thoughts about where we're at. I hope people who are watching can share this. There's a good crew out there watching. There might be a song I could throw in, a quick one. I don't think I played this the last time I was on, but I don't have the words printed out. Maybe I'll try it very quickly. It's goofy. My back is out, which is always fun. Here we are. Let's see. So there was this thing called February Album Writing Month, FAWM.org, and it's this coming to an end because February is coming to an end soon. And it's a worldwide songwriting jam where you spend the month of February writing as many songs as you can. And I've only written 2 new ones. The goal is to write 14. And then they had these prompts. One of the prompts was time machine, just the word time machine. And I can't remember if I played this. I don't think I did. And so I was thinking, okay, let's go forward in time to 2044, and which is a presidential election year. So let's see if I can get through this. Again, I don't have the, let's see, I'll try. Maybe I'll make the words shorter. I mean, smaller. Come on. All right, hold on, I'll try. I'll just try it. Don't know how I got here 2044. I'm gonna have to have the words in front of me. Don't know how I got here 2044. Somehow the world avoided nuclear war. Somehow the climate didn't go to hell. Somehow the Constitution never fell. Candidates for president are on the stump. Sasha Obama and Barron Trump. Because it would be the first year they're eligible. And that's not the weirdest thing I have to relate. They're both kind of sane and talking pretty straight. But that change didn't happen on its own. The sun let out a flare and all our circuits were blown. AI fried, satellites died, people had to meet without a telephone. So how do you get ready for this brighter fate? Here's some advice that I like to relate. Join yourself a club or your PTA, even run for office if you feel that way. Find yourself a goal that suits your skills and heart. Take back the power from the oligarchs. Don't know how I got here 2044. Somehow the world avoided nuclear war. Somehow the climate didn't go to hell. Somehow the Constitution never failed. Something like that. There you go. It's still a work in progress, obviously, but you get the idea.
I got to unmute and say, well done, Andy. That's great. Oh, man.
We'll see, I guess, those of us who could live long enough. But you got to get the work done. You know, we went to this, the reason I put in the PTA and joining a club, there's a book and a documentary about joining a club. And it's called, it's about bowling. That bowling used to be this great social enterprise. Everyone in America went bowling. And this historian did this whole book about the history of clubs. And he says that one of the things that keeps democracy going is just getting together, doing things that might have nothing to do with politics, but just having that conversation across these red and blue divides is something that's really valuable. And I think we've all found that with music. I mean, we know people, we have good friends who are part of our Hudson Valley circle who are very different politically. A certain cowboy from out in Wyoming. But we have great fun together, and that cuts across the brittle edges. So now we have a little more time here. So, oh my gosh, Donna, Arizona, how could I forget? Thank you for putting your your banjo up. You have to unmute though. Sorry.
I did. I'm here, and in 2010, Rick and I were invited to play at the Arizona National Livestock Show, and it was supposed to be cowboy songs, and I didn't know any, so I came home and learned that classic cowboy song by Cole Porter. I'm doing an abbreviated version. Wildcat Kelly was looking mighty pale when standing by the sheriff's side. When the sheriff said, "I'm sending you to jail," Wildcat raised his head and cried, "Oh, give me land, lots of land, under starry skies above. Don't fence me in, let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in, let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please, don't fence me in, just turn me loose. Let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western sky. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences, gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. Can't look at saddles, I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in, don't fence me in, don't fence me in. That's the abbreviated version. But I want to make sure that people know that next weekend is a Glendale Folk and Heritage Festival. So I wore my Glendale Folk and Heritage Festival t-shirt.
Cool.
It's a free festival in Saguaro Park, which is in Glendale, Arizona, adjacent to the main library. And there's, I think, at least 6 stages. We're doing a cowboy song workshop, which is like, wait, we're from New York.
Yeah, you could do that though.
Yeah, yeah, but it's just funny. It's like,
it's funny.
Maybe you ought to learn that song, "Somebody Robbed the Glendale Train."
We do that.
Oh, good.
But that's Glendale, California.
Oh, do you know the old
They're all
song
the same.
do you know Ralph McTell's song, "I Was a Cowboy"?
No.
Oh, look it up. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Yes, I learned it from a friend in college. The line I always remember is, always keep your hat screwed on real tight in case you get in a fight. Always keep your hat screwed on real tight in case you get in a fight. That's one of the tricks that you must employ if you want to be a cowboy.
Thank you. I will look that up. Thank
Actually
you.
Was a cowboy. I grew up on a cattle ranch in Arizona, the Mexican border. I was born in 1955. We got electricity and that thing called indoor plumbing in 1964, courtesy of Lyndon Johnson expanding the Rural Electrification Act. So I could sing cowboy songs with no irony.
You mean government matters?
Well, government matters in a strange way, because my family got the land because the feds stole it from the natives and gave it to us for free because we were of white European descent. I actually recently, within the last year, reached out, I tracked down the most recent tribe there, the Chiricahua Apaches, named for the Chiricahua Mountains, beautiful mountains between Arizona and New Mexico down south. And I reached out to the tribe and I said, my mother had sold her land for $36,000. It was 200 acres. It was still not worth much. And I was one of 3 kids. I didn't get the money directly, but I benefited this $12,000. And so I wanted to give it back to the tribe. And it took me a long time to reach the emails, whatever. Finally, I reached the tribal secretary and we're talking and she says, okay, yeah, right. But you're a citizen, right? And I said, yeah, I'm a citizen. And then I say, you mean citizen of the U.S. or citizen of the tribe? She's citizen of the tribe. No. I had just told her the story. And we go on several more minutes. And she says, now you're a tribal member, right? And I said, no. She could not comprehend that I wanted to repay, to reparations. I wanted to give the money back. In 2024, was last year, she could not believe it. So I send money monthly, and I get an email back that I wanted my money to go to either spiritual issues or education, and I'll get an email that they bought a half a cord of wood for their latest for the school that's on the reservation in New Mexico. But anyway, I grew up cowboy. I'm giving my cowboy money back.
That is so cool. That is so really cool. There's a story there. You should do an op-ed for the Times about that or something.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah.
That's really neat. Good for you. By the way, I want to just circle back to Join or Die. It's a book and a film. The film is on Netflix. It's about why you should join a club and why the fate of America depends on it. This historian, I'm forgetting his name. He's a Harvard historian. It's all about his work. So do check it out. It's worth doing. And up here in down East Maine, we are part of the Grange, the local Grange, and all kinds of things. So that's a really cool part of something to think about. Well, this has been a great gathering. We have a few more minutes before this truncated episode has to end, so I can go to raise some funds for the LA fire victims in a tiny facility called the Reversing Falls Sanctuary. You know what? It's just like the Tompkins Corners Church. It's a tiny little chapel that got turned into an art space, and people here in Maine are trying to help out people in California, and we're all prone to disaster risk wherever we are, and working on that is important. So it's a short episode. Lydia, do you have one more tune you can slip in? I don't know if something comes to mind. You're muted. You have to unmute too. Yep. Oh yeah, you have to do it. For some reason, I can't do it. Find that little.
It took a while. I got it.
There you go. All set.
My friend Parney Hall from Lenox, Mass. taught me to fingerpick, which he learned from Libba Cotton. And one of his first songs was published by Pete Seeger. I'll sing a little bit of this song. It's called Junkie's Lament, because with the politics of today, many facilities and carrying industries no longer are self-sufficient or can get aid to those who need it. Please, oh Lord, don't let them knock me down again. Please, oh Lord, don't let them knock me down again. 'Cause it's a doggone shame, and I swear I'm not the only one to blame. Don't let them knock me down again. Had a friend, they had lovely long black hair. I had a friend, now they've left me in despair. Oh yeah, they went away. Haven't had a moment's peace since that day. Don't let them knock me down again. Please, oh Lord, ain't got no will left but to die. Please, oh Lord, please listen while I cry. 'Cause it's a one-way track. It's a one-way track. I gotta shake that monkey off my back. Don't let them knock me down again. So please, oh Lord, let me walk here with your hand. Please, oh Lord, please help us understand. 'Cause it's a one-way track. It's a one-way track. I gotta shake that monkey off my back. Don't let them knock me down again. Don't let them knock me down again. Don't let them knock me down again.
Ooh, beautiful. Don't let them knock me down. And preserving resources right now is just a battle. It's going to take a lot of pressure on congressmen, congresswomen, from all of us. It's starting to happen. You're seeing it at town meetings. You've probably seen some of the video clips. People in red states are realizing this is not working. What's Elon Musk's move fast and break things approach may work in the private sector, but it doesn't work in the public sector because the things you're breaking are public goods, and they can affect lots of lives, whether it's safety of our aviation, whether it's programs for people with drug addiction, et cetera, et cetera. Thanks so much for everyone tuning in today, for all you coming together. John Thomas, good luck with the film and the book, and the story of the Kalamazoo Gals, which is so cool.
Yeah.
That was great.
That's the website. It's kalamazoogals.com.
John, I'll reach out to you privately. Thank you so
Please,
much.
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Andy.
And thank you, Andy, for doing this.
Thank you, Andy.
It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
And
I want to say I
doing-
rejoined
sorry.
the 802, the Musicians Union, 55,000 strong, and every person is contributing $25 to Act Blue. So,
Wow.
and let's keep the small infrastructure. Yeah, join clubs, write your local newspaper, free press, whatever you can. Stay connected.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Hugs to Lisa.
Thank you.
She just yelled hugs back to you. Take care. This is
Bye-bye.
great.
Have a great day.